Pillar. You're listening to metalstorm.net. Well, the idea of the cruise, as we know, started when I was sitting one night with a couple of my friends on my balcony in Vancouver, where I can see the cruise ship here, where all the cruises for Alaska leave.
And the cruise meaning 70?
The 70,000 tons, yeah, the invention of the metal cruise. So I was just sitting there with a couple of friends, as I said, having a couple of drinks. Most obviously I had one or two too many. And I said, yeah, why don't we charter one of these cruise ships and make a heavy metal festival? So that was about 6 years ago. And then it took a couple of years to get it into the water. And we created 70,000 tons of metal, which was a raving success. And many people always say, well, now he got greedy and he wants to do more. Well, if I would be greedy, I would probably have become a banker and not a heavy metal cruise promoter. I just wanted to add some more variety to it. It was a request of a lot of people. Probably do something only for the harder subgenres of metal, and here we are. You know.
Was it difficult to decide which band is going to play?
Well, we always do a wish list. I make my wish list. Then I have my assistant and some people from the office add some names. We ask some of our press partners and so. And yeah, then it is always like a wish list, you know. What is on the wish list is one thing. What Santa Claus gets you is maybe not exactly always what is on the list. Some people are simply not available because they have other plans, touring, recording, and so on. Some artists are simply not viable financially, you know, because we can only sell a limited amount of tickets, and I cannot just make the fence a little bit wider, like on farmland, you know. And there is maybe some few people that simply don't want to be put into this environment, you know, because they are probably afraid that they get stalked or mocked or whatever by the fans, which never happened. Everybody's happy, everybody's quiet. But yeah, some people just don't really want to be around so many people and not being able to just go away.
Right, right. Now, now that the Barge to Hell is almost over, today is the last day, did it look better on paper than it is now, than it turned out, or is there something we should have done that better now for Barge to Hell?
There is, of course, always room for improvement. I always try to better the event, to better myself. You know, nothing is ideal. But one of the mistakes that, and I'm totally honest about this, was probably the time frame was not the best. Usually we have quite a high number of European guests with 70,000 tons. Now, most obviously Europeans do not find it so easy to get vacation time in December. All the Christmas shopping and all this kind of stuff, you know. So the number of European guests is significantly lower. But I mean, it still turned out okay, but we would have loved to fill the last ranks too, of course.
Right. So is there plans for another Barge to Hell, and if there is, would it be in a different time?
There is definitely plans to do another Barge to Hell. I mean, like 70,000 tons, I got the same questions there. We and myself, I don't put all this work into it and then just do it once and never again. We definitely want to do it again. We'll make some adjustments overall in the time frame. So the next one, I can guarantee, will not be in December anymore.
So will you kind of like 1 year 70K, the next year Barge to Hell, or are you still planning on doing it both in the same year? Or is it too early to tell?
I mean, it's too half and half, put it that way. There is one thing for sure, 70,000 tons, which is my flagship, so to speak, that is and that will be, as long as it runs, will be an annual event. Barge to Hell, as I said, we have to find a different time frame. It's not so easy. I don't want to put it too close to 70,000 tons because I still realize that there is quite a significant amount of people that actually want to do both. So like just doing it 2-3 weeks earlier or 2-3 weeks later would make it really almost impossible for those people. Not only financially, but yeah, once again, you know, people have to take off work and so on. Now we have to see, like, I can't put it in March. There is March break. The prices for the ship go through the roof. I definitely don't want to do any of these cruises in the summer because it will not be a good idea competing with all the European land-based festivals.
Right.
The bands probably don't even have the time to fly over here. We can also not go too early in the fall because it is hurricane season, and even though some people would probably find that funny, and as I always say, like, don't be afraid of a hurricane once you're on the ship, because it's one of the safest places, you know. The storm comes, you just go the other way. But if the storm happens to hit Florida, it will disrupt air traffic, like the people just don't get in anymore. So we'll have to think about it very well. I mean, I don't want to guarantee this now, but most likely probably a little bit earlier in the fall. So probably November or something like this. But that's just an idea. We'll have to, once this has sailed and all is said and done, then we'll look at the numbers and we'll look at the ideas, we'll look at the schedules, ship deployment schedules and so on. We'll see what we can do.
With the cruise line, is the cruise line kind of dictating the destination, or are you saying, hey, we would like to go to this destination next time?
I'm the skipper. I tell the captain where to steer the ship. So it is me that is deciding on the destination. Like we have this with 70,000 tons, we try to alternate, you know, and go to a different destination every year. Obviously, sooner or later we run out of options and we will have to do repeats. It's the same thing with the bands, you know. I mean, there are only so and so many bands, so it is clear that 1 year in the future you have repeats. So I don't want to say that we don't go back to a port we have already been. Obviously also the ship has only a certain speed it can go, so we can't go wherever.
Right.
I would always like to go, I mean that was actually one of my first thoughts when we decided for Miami as a departure point. I always wanted to go to Jamaica. Now this ship only makes about 19 knots. We would make it to Jamaica, but the port call would only be like 3 hours, and that's just not worth it, you know.
Right.
So maybe one day in the future we'll probably have a different vessel that has a faster speed, then we can make that a reality. But yeah, it's me that says where we go.
Cool. Last question. Will you ever do, like on a festival setting, like one huge headliner? Or will it always be not necessarily headliners, but some of the bigger bands just get longer sets?
There are ideas for different concepts. I believe 70,000 tons of metal, as well as also Barge to Hell, is a festival setup. There is the event is the headliner, so to speak. There is many artists. Obviously, some get slightly longer, some get shorter slots, but there is no headliner for that. There is the idea to do probably one day like a headline cruise, but this will be then really a different concept. This will really revolve around one major artist, so plans for this are in the works, but it takes time. It takes time. So, but there are the ideas around. Yes.
Cool. Is the Barge to Hell or 70,000 tons one of those, you know, you need to do this once in your lifetime? Would you say yes, or?
I would say I leave this up to everyone to decide for themselves. There is. I mean, it is a great event, and I think the majority of my guests say, "Hey, you gotta do this one time in your life." I don't think that you will have really missed something in your life if you didn't. I also realize that for some people overall coming from overseas or so, it is quite a financial burden to actually make it here, and the cruise costs quite some money too, even though compared to actually what you get if you go somewhere
Yes.
in a major city, you go into a good hotel for 4 nights, you eat in restaurants, breakfast, lunch and dinner, you go every day to a show, and so you might quite likely spend more money than for this cruise, yeah. But, so that's why some people probably just find it hard, you know, like getting the money together, you know. But it is a great event. It's really, I mean, I wish that every metal fan could and would do this at least once in their life. But yeah, some people miss something, so I don't think that you wasted your life if you haven't done it.
Cool, cool.
This is Andy Piller. I'm the skipper of Barge to Hell and 70,000 tons of metal, and I really wish to welcome you on board one of my metal cruises in the future. Thank you very much.